talking about teams that should be buyers and sellers here, and we'll start with the buyers. A team that should be a buyer at the trade deadline is blank.
I feel like we talked about OKC too much, but I think they should trade for Markkanen. I'll just leave that there.
Okay.
I think they should do it. You saw the Celtics use Luke Kornet and Kristaps Porzingis effectively last night. They took away the driving lanes from the Thunder. I think Markkanen would be an awesome fit next to Chet. I think they would play similar styles to OKC already plays and that Utah already plays. 5 out and everybody can drive. That would be an awesome fit. And they've got so many picks and players that they could easily do it.
Yeah, and I think I'm with you. I know that there's all this talk. Let them play once in the playoffs before you go get a superstar.
He's not a superstar.
Exactly. That's the thing.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I don't trade for a superstar. I totally agree. But a star that would fit in. Yeah. Lauri Markkanen is a star, and he can shoot from everywhere, and he can play defense. He's a damn good player. If Utah wants to do it, because he's damn good.
Yeah, so, it's probably not a Utah move.
No.
Yeah, but make a trade. It's
okay,
fine.
But who else do you have? It sounds like you have
I think the
else.
Kings.
Yeah.
I think they actually really need to make a move. They just seem a tier behind Denver, certainly, and then I think they're probably behind the Timberwolves and the Thunder. In the pecking order, the offense isn't what it was last year. Kevin Huerter got benched last night. Harrison Barnes has definitely taken a step back here. The defense has improved. I think they're like in the middle of the pack right now, 17th rather than bottom 5, which is good. But they just don't seem to have the catch you by surprise factor they had last year. And you know what you're getting, I feel like, with the Kings. So they could definitely be a team that could improve either at the Huerter spot or at the Barnes spot. I mean, they've got like Davion Mitchell. He's out of the rotation. I don't think he's that great of a player, but maybe somebody's interested. You toss in a pick as well, and then you're cooking.
Yeah. I mean, they've been linked to Lauri Markkanen. They've been linked to Pascal Siakam. They've been linked to
LaVine,
at times
a little bit.
to LaVine for sure. Yeah, he said he would gladly play in Sacramento. I think he was maybe told a reporter. Kyle Kuzma, there was some talk of that back in the day too. The idea though more like probably a power forward, somebody to go alongside Sabonis, but they just don't have a lot of like super enticing assets to because they're in the spot where they're a good team, like you said, but they're trying to get to a great team. They need another player. So you can't send out obviously you're not getting rid of Sabonis or Fox. Teams are going to want Keegan Murray. I don't think they should do that. They probably want a Malik Monk if in some sort of trade. They're going to be the Kings are like, hey, here's Harrison Barnes. And people are going to be like, cool.
You tried to give me him last year.
Yeah, we don't want him, thanks. So I think they might struggle, though, to put together an enticing package to get a big name, some of the names that we're mentioning. But
I'm with you.
They should, if they can. They can fleece a team, do it.
Yeah, and you got to go big body. I think the most important thing is to have a tall guy. A tall, extremely talented guy to help out defense, to help out on the boards.
Well, what about Capella then? I mean, it's not a star name, but would he help a need for the Kings in terms of rebounding, a little defense, size? I think so. It's a little more attainable too.
And attainable.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean
is there another one? No. They definitely want to make a move because they've got and Mike Brown is just inserting, taking out guys from the rotation. Kevin Huerter, you're on the bench now. What? Kevin Huerter coming off the bench. You mentioned Davion Mitchell. He was hurt, so Keon Ellis was taking his minutes. Now he's sort of back, but Keon Ellis, I think, can play those minutes. And it goes on and on and on. Barnes also coming off the bench at times or not playing fourth quarters. So I think it is time. Why have this many guys when you know De'Aaron Fox is damn good? And you know Domantas Sabonis, when he doesn't have 10 turnovers, is damn good. So move it. I think so.
Do you have any other teams that should be buyers?
I think Dallas should be a buyer as well because they start Luka and Kyrie in the backcourt, and they got Dante Exum beside him. So those two guards, you know that your defense ain't going to be all that good. No. They've got a big man problem. They can't rebound at all that well with Grant Williams and Derek Lively in their front court. They're one of the teams allowing the most offensive rebounds in the game as well. And so they have to get big as well.
How about a Clint Capella? Can I interest you in a Clint Capella?
Who was also rumored to be going to the Dallas Mavericks last year, and then they went and drafted pretty damn well with Derek Lively. It ended up pretty well, but you got to get a little older and a little bigger to make Luka happy. Yeah, I don't have a good name other than Clint Capella, because Clint Capella ain't all that sexy right now at his age.
Definitely not. Definitely not. All right, well then, final one. Let's flip this on its head. Who's a team that should be a seller at the trade deadline?
I think the Portland Trailblazers.
Yeah, that makes some sense.
Yeah.
Oh, Trey, you're agreeing. You gave him a little finger gun from Trey off camera there.
Yeah. Because there aren't that many horrible teams. And I think that helps this team jump in, because most have a hope that they can get into the play-in. Basically, all teams in the West, the Spurs are the only team that's bad. You know, they've been trying a lot of things. And then in the other conference, there's Charlotte, there's Washington, there's Detroit. But if you aren't one of those, this is time to sneak in and get some value for a vet. I do think. And the Blazers got a lot of those vets. When you start looking at them, Jeremy Grant, who signed his 5-year for $160 million deal, maybe it's time to cash in. Malcolm Brogdon at 31. He's 31 years old, not 31 million. 22 million this year and next year. What are we doing here? Just let Shaden and Scoot go.
And Simons,
And let them play in silence. Is that what you said?
Simons.
Oh, Simons. I thought you said let them go in silence.
I'm with you. And you agree with the Blazers being a seller? They should
let them go in silence. Let them go. I think Brogdon's got, he's there to be traded. I think Jeremy Grant, it seemed like he was signed to the big contract because they were going to keep Damian Lillard around. In reality, it's probably a trade asset as well. So, I could see them definitely making a move, especially since you've seen a little action from Scoot Henderson recently. So I think that's exciting for Blazers fans. I also think another team that's got to be in the mix is the Houston Rockets. Early season surprise, certainly. They've been a lot better than I thought they would. But they're probably the 11th best team of the 11 teams that are really contending in the Western Conference for these playoff spots. Teams like the Suns, the Warriors, the Lakers are all going to be looking to beef up and pass them in the standings. So it might be smart here for the Rockets to have taken a step forward in their rebuild, bringing in a professional coach and just looking a lot better and looking more cohesive. Jeff Green could help a team that's he helped the Nuggets last year in the playoffs. There's still 8 teams probably he hasn't played for, so I hope it's one of those. Jock Landale. Remember Jock Landale? You saw him with the Suns last year. He signed a huge contract. It's got 0 guarantees on it. Maybe he helps somebody as a backup big off the bench. And then I'm kind of curious if they would explore trading Jalen Green. Pretty early in his career, but he hasn't established himself, and he seems to have been passed in the pecking order by a few of these other recent draft picks from the Rockets, to the point where I'm I don't know how long he's going to be able to stay there and have a long-term role. So maybe trading him now is a good way to get some assets back.
I like Jalen. I'd keep him. But
he just got benched, I think.
Yeah, at times. But I think you make a good point about how deep they are. And I have real faith in that the top of their team is good. So why have all these guys? Why have all of them? Why have all of these guys that are really just chip-in players? I have faith in their team. Also, a note, we talk about all these big guys that are attainable. Why not go get a big guy? We mentioned Robert Williams for the Portland Trailblazers. That's another guy. It's attainable.
Yeah. It's just unfortunate he can't play.
He's out for the season.
Yeah.
Is it the season? Oh,
yeah.
I know he hasn't played in 2 months. That's a long time.
I don't think he's
so you don't trade for him.
Next year.
Yeah.
Next year. He's signed
ahead.
for a couple more years. That's the weird thing about this Blazers team, is that they have Ayton and they have Robert Williams. They have guys that probably aren't going to play forever.
I'll add one more team that should be a seller because they're shit, even though they won last night. The Hornets. Buzz City should be aggressively shopping everyone on their roster not named LaMelo Ball, Brandon Miller, or Mark Williams. I guess you could talk me into keeping PJ Washington and Cody Martin too. They're both solid players. They're on affordable and controlled contracts. But even then, I think you're taking calls on those guys. 2 main guys, Terry Rozier and Gordon Hayward. They should be moved for sort of any and all assets they can get. Especially Scary Terry, man. We just said, he had this awesome game against the Kings last night. He averaged 21 points per game last year, and he's up to 24 points per game this year. Better percentages. He makes about $25 million a year. He's got 2 years left on his deal. He's not even 30 yet. Terry Rozier has some playoff experience. It's been a while, but played in 9 or 10 series when he was with the Celtics back in the day, so he's got some reps. I think he could really help a team that's like either because of injury or just short on guard play. And I think he could be got from the Hornets and should be available. And then Hayward, look, he's fairly washed. He's only going to play half a season. That's sort of his thing. But he's in the final year of his 4-year, $120 million contract. So it's a low risk, I think, sort of long term. You bring him in. He's a vet guy. He's always good for like a 25-5 game every 3 weeks. So you can see him helping in a playoff series in the right matchup. So I think either of those guys, the Hornets should be looking to move if you can get anything for them.
I think they're all available.
I think so too.
Yep.
Yeah. And Terry's
maybe even
awesome.
Mark.
Oh no,
maybe
not. Mark's got a back problem right now. Let's let Mark get back in the game.